What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, I had recorded a video yesterday, and of course, the audio got bloop bleeped, and it was lively. I was all animated and stuff, and then it's bloop. It was garbage trash. I was like, ugh. So I have to redo it, and this is what this is. Anyway, I was talking about in the lost footage how Sony PlayStation is begging developers to make bespoke, special PlayStation 5 Pro versions of games, said games, whether they're new games coming out or maybe update to old games, blah blah blah, right? And basically, I'm like, okay, they are literally doing everything that they're doing what they said Microsoft would do. Basically, they're saying you can't make a better version of said game. Parity clause. You know, the parity clause covers this generation of consoles. PS5. You could add a Pro, you could add a Plus, you could add whatever you want to the end of it. It's still this generation. So parity clause is parity clause. Meaning, if you're going to gimp the Xbox Series versions of games for the PlayStation 5, then you can't have better versions for the PlayStation 5 Pro over the Xbox Series X, right? Only makes sense. It's the same thing, except it's reversed. They were so adamant about upholding this parity clause because they were afraid that Call of Duty is going to be worse on the PlayStation because Xbox owns Call of Duty now, right? Well, guess what? Sony didn't give Microsoft the PlayStation 5 Pro dev kits, so guess what version y'all are getting? Guess what version the ponies are getting? They're getting the PlayStation 5 amateur version of Call of Duty. And then they're going to sit there and say, oh, we told you this would happen. It's like, you didn't give us the dev kits to make the special version, A. B, parity clause, so we can't make the special version because you said everything's got to be the same, right? This generation is so backwards, it's ridiculous. And I'm like, Sony is they're not out of their minds. They don't know what they're doing. It's like, the more that you look at what Sony's doing, you're like, okay, I understand they're a company, they're trying to make money. Okay, you understand that part. Like, let's raise the prices. Why? So we can make money. More money, right? Because they're already making money, but more money. Let's put out hardware that's pretty whack, but some people will buy it. More money. Although I would say that they lost money on PlayStation VR 2. Lost money on the what else did they call? Oh, the Portal. I don't think they lost money on that because it's basically a dual sense with an Android tablet in the middle of it. So what is the Android tablet, like $40 or something like that? Actually, it's probably cheaper for that, like at cost. And the dual sense is, what is that? $60 at cost, maybe $50 at cost. I don't know. So I would say they probably made money on the Portal at $200, right? They didn't sell a lot of them. So did they make money? Because they probably have stock of that too. Just like they got stock of PlayStation 5. Look, this generation has been I was going to say cacophony, but that's not the word. This generation has been a cavalcade of bad hardware decisions by Sony. Even the PlayStation 5 was a bad hardware decision because they had a spec. They were like, this is what it's going to be. And then they saw what Xbox was doing. It's like, uh-oh. We got to make it faster or something. We got overclock it, liquid metal. They did everything in their power to try to lessen the gap between the power. And, I mean, some would say it worked, but it didn't work because by them overclocking the CPU in the PlayStation 5 Amateur, the 10% bump in clock speed for the Pro is... you shouldn't have even said that because it's like 10%. What is that? I have $1. Here's a dime. I got $100. Here's $10. It's nothing. It's insignificant. 10% of CPU. What is that? Like one cycle of, like, you can have one extra NPC doing some AI and stuff. It's so dumb. Well, how many? What was it, like 2.5 frames? How many? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I was like, when you're up to 40-50%, like the GPU side is like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but you can't use that. You can't leverage that towards frames. And what they're gonna say is, oh well, we'll put the resolution down to like unspeakable levels. Use this PiSSeR tech, dude. When Sean and them WBG, he started saying, he said PiSSeR tech. I was like, I took a second. I was like, oh shit. He's talking about the PiSSeR. I was like, oh damn. So now it's PiSSeR tech. See, that's bad. You know, when you name something, I mean, they're trying to be like PlayStation, temporal, super resolution, whatever the acronym is. But when it's so easy to call it PiSSeR tech, is it? And here's my question about the PiSSeR tech. So that's what it's called now. I'm sorry, Sony. That's your bad. You know, you thought Xbox was bad at naming stuff. Anyway, the Trinity. You know, that's what the PS4, PS5 Pro. That's the code name. So like I said, there's 3 PS4 Pros duct taped together. Trinity. Anyway, the PiSSeR tech. My question about the PiSSeR tech is it actually hardware? Is it a PiSSeR chip inside that's giving it the extra? Because if it's not, then it's taking away from either CPU or GPU. So if they have a bump in GPU, right? This PiSSeR tech is taken away from the GPU, right? So they're lowering the resolution so the GPU doesn't have to work as hard. But the PiSSeR tech needs to work hard. Well, it has to work in order to upscale it, AI upscale it, PiSSeR tech. So if there is not a PiSSeR chip in the PlayStation 5 Pro, what are we doing? And is that all in service to make it have higher frames, to possibly get to 60 frames? Like say if you're running 480p, PiSSeR tech up to, I don't know, 1080p or something like that. Will that be enough? See, I don't even know if that's enough for the frame, because everybody keeps saying the CPU is what dictates the frames. GPU is for pixels and such, and ray tracing and stuff like that. And so if you can't leverage the GPU for frames, literally no point. Literally no point. Sony is, it's really crazy. And then like today I've been listening to stuff, and they're talking about the PlayStation going to Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, putting the overlays and all that stuff, and all these ponies and Donkey Unicorns are freaking out on the internet, overreacting, or not overreacting, just reacting. And I'm like, y'all have no idea, because you think what Microsoft is doing is bad or whatever. Sony's gonna do the same thing. They're just spacing it out. They have latency. They got PlayStation latency. They're still in the old generation trying to sell consoles like dummies. Hiroki Totoki knows, and he knows it's hard to. When you turn in a battleship. When you turn an aircraft carrier, it's not an easy turn. It takes a while to turn that ship. So it's gonna take some years for them to catch up, if you will. And the longer they take to go day and date on console, like for like their PSN or PS Plus subscription, the longer it's going to take for them to turn the ship. That's all. Because Game Pass will always be better in that respect. It doesn't matter if they do day and date selling a game on PC. If it's not in your subscription service, Xbox wins. They're better. Also, last thing, dude, how in the hell? How does Xbox have 7 games on the PlayStation Store and PlayStation only has 5? I'm talking first-party games in the top 25. Xbox has more games in the PlayStation Store in the top 25 than Sony does. How is that? How's that work out? How is that possible? And how do ponies and Donkey Unicorns take that information and spin it? I'll tell you how they spin it. Oh, Xbox is going third party. Oh, ha ha ha. We don't have to buy an Xbox. Y'all are so dumb. Because the whole thing when Phil Spencer was like, every time we sell a game on PlayStation, they use that money to try to stop us from, making games or whatever. I forgot how he said it, phrased it or whatever. or they use that money to pay for exclusives or something like that, right? Which is true. But you also have to think about this. If the install base of the PlayStation is whatever, they're leading, right? So some say. I can't really agree with that, or I don't believe it because Sony be lying. But anyway, let's just pretend that they have sold more consoles, right? They have a bigger user install base. Questionable. Microsoft is sitting here saying, well, if we sell games on there, we getting 70%. They get 30. They can get their 30, and they can, limp on by with their giant budgets. They could probably pay for Spider-Man 3 with that. Meanwhile, we got 7 games pulling 70% off of PlayStation fans. PlayStation is funding Xbox at this point. They're funding Game Pass. They're funding game development because PlayStation ain't got no games. So they have to resort to playing actual games, not just some movie games, point-and-click movie games. Basically what the PlayStation catalog is kind of boiled down to, if you want to just fundamentalize it. That's not a word, I'm sorry. I know it's not. If you want to break it down simply, people are getting tired of that. I mean, Spider-Man is cool because it's Spider-Man. The casuals like Spider-Man. The casuals, they'll probably like Wolverine. Not better than Spider-Man. Wolverine is not a more popular character than Spider-Man. Period. So Wolverine will not do as good as Spider-Man. Period. Also, it's mature. It's going to be super gory, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that is automatically a smaller audience, for the most part. I would say a small audience because all the kids and stuff can't play it. They can, but that's most of it. So it won't do as well as whatever the best Spider-Man did, basically. No matter how good the game is, just the nature of mature games, for the most part. But there is a giant segment of mature gamers, so, maybe it'll do okay. Who knows? But I don't think it will, because all the mature gamers bought the original 2 Spider-Mans and Miles Morales, so they'll buy this one also, but then the younger gamers can't play it. So anyway, that's not the point. Sony, this generation, PlayStation is in a bad state. They don't know what they're doing. It literally looks like they don't know what they're doing. They're like, It's just crazy. So, I don't know, man. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Sony begging devs to make a bespoke version, a PlayStation 5 Pro version of these games, breaking the parity clause that they bestowed or forced upon Microsoft within all this litigation and stuff. It's not bad enough that the Sony ponies and Duck Unicorns and fanboys are hypocrites. Sony themselves are hypocrites. It's just a reflection of that whole environment on the blue side. So, I'm just like, look, I always knew Sony was shady, whatever. Business is business, but at the same time, your leadership will dictate the morality of how y'all do things, how you treat your customers, how you treat the industry. And Sony right now is in a bad spot. Hopefully, Hiroki Totoki and whoever, helms the way going forward is going to be a little more moral, a little more just for the customers, and just a better steward for video games as far as PlayStation is concerned. Also, what do you think about Xbox taking over the PlayStation Store, baby? Selling all them games, getting all that money from them Duck Unicorns and Ponies. And it's funny because it cements and it backs up the idea that PlayStation 5 is a casual console, because if it wasn't a casual console and if it was all hardcore Ponies and Duck Unicorns, those games wouldn't be selling. Those Xbox games would not be selling on a PlayStation. They'd be like, ew, get that filth out of here, ew, gross. But casuals don't care. They're like, oh, what is this, a pirate? It's cool. It's like Fortnite, but pirates, yay! And they buying it up, boy. And look, Fortnite. Sea of Thieves is at 40 million players already. It didn't even launch on PlayStation yet. Come on, son. Yo, Xbox right now is kind of undeniable, yo. You looking at what they're doing, all the moves they're making. You be questioning, like Crab Gamer and Mooch and frickin' Tim Dog and all these crybaby gamers. Like, why are you gonna do this to the customers that were loyal to you, who put their exclusives on the competition's console? Like, shut your ass up, man. Why you crying? You're a grown ass man. Why you crying on the internet? I wish I could go through the internet and figuratively smack him upside the face, because I mean, violence is bad, but still, smack some sense into him at least. Cause it's like, I mean, I feel like Crap Gamer should be that lady in Airplane where you're sitting and then people just in line ready to smack, and dude's like, yo, people got bats. They're like, they about to go. That's what Crap Gamer, Tim Dog, all of them need slaps, because you're looking at what's happening, and I'm looking at Microsoft. I'm like, y'all mother flowers, y'all. You know what? I mean, I didn't care. You know, they putting a couple of games on PlayStation. Who cares? A couple of games on Switch. I mean, wow. Oh my gosh. It's not Halo. It's not Forza. It's not the big games. It's little games, and it's multiplayer games. Makes sense. Business sense. And they're raking in the dough, boy. They're like, scoop, scoop. And they're sitting there. They're looking at, hey, did y'all check out the PlayStation Store? Who's on the top 25? I'll wait. And they're looking at, oh, snap. And all you see today in the headlines, Xbox is taking over PlayStation. Xbox is taking over the PlayStation Store. That's bad. That's like, there's one thing to have positive news about your console, right? And then there's another thing with fanboys, negative news about the competition, whatever, right? But it's bad when Xbox, supposed to be in third place, taking over the first place's store. How does that work? That's like, it's not even an underdog. It was like calculated. So I told y'all, 69D chess. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation is still playing kindergarten checkers, and I'm like, yo, it's just, yo, they got some smart people over at Microsoft. Phil and Sarah and Matt, they're the Trinity. They're the real Trinity. You know, forget about the PlayStation 5 Pro codename. They're the Trinity, because they coming through, and they are just like, they changing the game. They changing the game like Hamilton changed the game. Sorry, I listened to the, wait for it. Anyway, just let me know in the comments below what you think about the stuff that I just said. And put a like, subscribe, and all that stuff. I'm still working on the music. Don't you worry. It's coming. And that's all I got to do. I wanted to preach to the wait.